Hello and welcome to this tutorial on writing or generating a Excel file from OIC Integration. The topics covered in this tutorial I have highlighted in brief over here. In order to achieve the use case, that is generating a Excel file with OIC Integration, we need to build OCI function which will write Excel file to SFTP server. Next, we are going to build OIC Integration which will invoke the OCI function which will write an Excel file to SFTP server. So this tutorial is divided into two classes. Class 1, we will focus on building OCI function. We will walk through the code and we'll see each and every detail, what needs to be done in order to achieve the use case. Second, class number 2 is we are going to build OIC integration, which will call function that is discussed in class 1. And we'll try to write the contents to Excel file in SFTP server. Now the question will arise, why do we want to watch this tutorial and what the benefit it has to offer to you? At the end of this tutorial, you will be able to generate or create a Excel file with OIC integration with ease, as there is no direct support in OIC integration for Excel file. Second thing is OCI function. You will be comfortable in developing function to write a Excel file, generate a Excel file and push the Excel file to SFTP server. Third thing is you will be comfortable in developing a solution wherein if there is a requirement to create an Excel file or push the Excel file to SFTP server, you will be able to do it with the ease. All those things you will be able to learn. Without wasting much time, let's now jump into our classes for this tutorial. In this class, we are going to build OCI function, that is to write Excel file to SFTP server. Here the OCI function will first of all create a file or write a file in temporary directory in OCI function, and then it will push that file to SFTP directory. Here we are going to make use of xlsx writer Python module in order to create Excel file. Then we are going to make use SFTP Python module in order to write Excel file to SFTP server. Now let's walk you through the functions code. I have already created this write Excel file function as you are seeing over here. This is the same boilerplate code what we get when we write the fn init command. What I have done is I have written the implementation details in another Python file over here, that is write file _fn.py file, where I have a method or the function created with name write file. Here I am passing the Excel file data which has to be written into an Excel file and the SFTP details. SFTP details will basically carry SFTP directory and the file name. This is the sample JSON request what this function will accept. Here Excel file data will hold the data for multiple sheets. Suppose if you are having data for only one sheet, then you can send only one iteration of this Excel file data. If you are having multiple, then you can send it as an array. So under Excel file data, first is sheet name element, which will carry the sheet name which will be created while creating a workbook or an Excel spreadsheet. Next, it will contain the row details. So row data is nothing but it will carry data which has to be written into a cells row wise, like ABC will be written in a single row, DEF will come next. If you are in any other rows, then it will come one after the other. So the first row will be header. In your case, if you are having any header to be written, then always send first row as header. Next will be consequent line rows. In our case, this example case, we are having two sheets which has to be written into Excel file, sheet 1 and sheet 2, and both the sheets are having, this will be a first row and this will be a second. Under SFTP details, we will be passing the SFTP directory where the Excel file has to be written finally and the Excel file name. So these are the two details, Excel file data and the SFTP details, that is this one and Excel file data. This we are passing it to a write file function. Now let me open this write file function. This is the write file function which I have created, which is accepting arguments. I have created configuration parameters in order to hold this SFTP details, that is host, port, username and the password. This is the sample response which this function will be sending back to functions.py. This is just a placeholder. The first thing is it has to pull the file data, which is the argument number 0, what we sent from fn main function to this function write file function. Next, it will pull the SFTP directory details and hold it in a variable. Next is a file name. It will pull and store it in a write file name. That is nothing but the final Excel file name. This is the temporary write file which will be used to write into a OCI temporary file location. In order to know more about temporary directory available in OCI function, you can have a look at this link provided by Oracle for Oracle Cloud Infrastructure documentation. Here there is a tabular column where it will have a matrix. So what is the maximum allowed size, number of files which is allowed to have in this temporary directory, all those things you can get it from here. Next is we are going to make use of xlsx writer Python module over here, and we are going to write the file into a temporary file location. Next, it will iterate over the sheets, that is nothing but this. If there are two sheets, it will iterate twice. If there is one, only once. It will try to add a name for this sheet with the help of this add worksheet function available in this workbook. Next, it will iterate over the rows, that is nothing but this one. It will iterate one by one. If there are n number of rows, then it will iterate n number of times. After iterating n number of times, it will pull each and every row data like A, B, C, like this, and it will write into our columns. Then finally we are going to close. If any exception occurs, then also we are going to close. In case of any error, we are just rethrowing it outside. In order to push the Excel file, which is locating as of now in the temporary location, to SFTP server, we are going to make use of this SFTP module. So we are trying to establish a connection, and then we are just putting the file from temporary file location to remote write file location, which we created it over here, the directory path. That's it. In the response, we are sending back the file name, and in case of any error, then we are sending the error message appropriately. Now let's test this function. I have created the request which will be sent to our OCI function. So this is the post SFTP method, and I have placed the Excel file data. Here I am having two sheets, sheet 01 and sheet 02, and there will be two rows, A, B, C, D, E, F. And in sheet 2 there are two rows again. Let me add one more row. Let me give the data as D22, E22 and F22. Here file, I'm naming this as file 01. That's it. I'm clicking on the send button. Function has successfully written Excel file to SFTP directory, and the file name it has provided over here, that is file name _01.xlsx, will be created in this directory. Let's now go to SFTP server and verify. Let me refresh this directory. Yeah, there is this file generated. Let me download this to local computer. I have downloaded the file into my local computer. Let me open this. Yeah, there is this sheet 01 and sheet 02. In sheet 01 there are two rows, A, B, C and D, E, F, and in sheet 02 there are three rows. This is exactly same what we had sent in the request. This looks good. Suppose I want only one sheet to be present in my Excel file, then I am removing the second sheet details. Here I am giving the name as file name 02. Let me hit on this test button. Yeah, this has successfully executed the function, that is it has created the file successfully. Let me download that file from SFTP directory and we'll verify. As you can see, there is only one sheet now, so there is no second sheet created. So like this, we can customize xlsx file generated as per our business requirement. In our previous class, we had seen how to create Excel file and push that file to SFTP directory with the help of OCI function. In this class, we are going to learn how to create the same use case with the help of OIC integration. Since there is no direct support for Excel file in OIC integration, here we are going to make use of OCI function, that is integration will make a call to OCI function in order to create Excel file. Integration will just pass the data to function, and function will create the file and upload the file to SFTP, and it will tell the file name created back to integration. Here we are going to discuss two use cases. In the first integration, we are going to create an integration which will accept the Excel file data in REST API invocation, that is in the request body in JSON format, and write the contents to an Excel file. Like it will be exactly similar to what we had seen in our functions code. In second use case, we are going to create an integration which will pull the file, that is CSV file from SFTP server it will read the contents of CSV file and it will call the OCI function. It will send the CSV file details to OCI function, and in turn it will write the contents to a Excel file, and that file will be returned to SFTP server. In short, this second use case is nothing but converting CSV file to Excel file. Now let's directly go into our lab and walk through both the integrations. I have already created both the integrations for both the use cases. Let me first walk you through this first integration, that is writing Excel file to REST int. This integration is exposed as a REST API to external consumers. So the sample request and response will be exactly similar to OCI function, which we had seen in our class 1. The request will be JSON and it will exactly be similar to like this, what we had seen. And the response also will be same like OCI function. It will have status, message, and the file name. So I'm not opening the wizard over here. I'm directly opening this REST connection wherein we are calling our OCI function. So in the wizard, in basic information, I have provided the URI. This I'm anyhow overwriting in my mapper. The complete URI I'm providing for the function in the mapping. The action is post and it will have a request and response. Click on next. Here I have provided the request and the response which is accepted by the function, and that's it. I'm closing this. Here in the mapping, I'm having a for loop over here which will loop over the Excel file data, and it will pull the sheet name and it will assign the row details and the SFTP details. Let me show you from the designer. As I told, the request will be exactly similar for this OIC integration and the OCI function. So you will be seeing the names exactly same in both the ends, in source and target. So here we are iterating over Excel file content and we are pulling the sheet data. If there are n number of sheets to be created, then we will create n number of sheets and the data for that sheets. And the SFTP details will map. Here in the connectivity properties, I am passing absolute endpoint URI for the function here directly. I'm hard coding this, but you can make use of integration properties or lookup in order to customize this in your actual business use case. I'm closing this mapper. And in the response, I'm mapping response, what I'm getting from OCI function to the response for this OIC integration, that is status, message, and the file name. That's it. I'm closing this mapper. Now we'll test this integration from OIC testing window. I am here in the testing page for write Excel file REST integration, and I have provided the sample data over here. Here I'm trying to create two sheets within the Excel file, that is sheet 01 and sheet 02. There will be two rows. In sheet 1 there will be ABC, DEF, and in sheet 2 there will be two rows, that is A2, B2, C2, D2, E2, F2, and the SFTP details. This will be the final Excel file name and the SFTP directory. Now let's go to SFTP server and verify if there is any file already present. There is this file which we generated in class 1. I'm deleting this. Now I will hit on this test button. Let me scroll down. Yeah, our OCI function has executed successfully, and this is the message. It has generated a file. Let us go to SFTP server and verify. Let me refresh. Yeah, there is the file. Let me download this. Yeah, this has created two sheets, that is sheet 01 and sheet 02. And in sheet 01, the content is ABC, DEF, and in sheet 02, content is A2, B2, C2, D2, E2, F2. Like this, we can generate Excel file with the help of OIC integration within a fraction of a second. Only thing what we need to consider over here is the maximum size of data what OIC or any service caller which can send to OCI function is 6 MB. There is a cap on that at the time of recording this video. If you are having a huge data, then OCI function must pull the data from object storage or from the SFTP server, and it will convert the data or write to some other file and push the data back to object storage or SFTP server. We have seen write Excel file REST integration just now, and also we had tested this integration. And in the second use case, wherein we are going to convert CSV file to Excel file, for that purpose, I have created already an integration, that is Excel to CSV file convert int. It should be CSV to Excel. I have named it wrongly. Let me open this integration and walk you through the code. This integration I have exposed as a REST API for our service consumers. Whenever they want to invoke this integration, they have to send the data in JSON format at the time of invocation. Let me open this wizard. Coming to resource configuration, the endpoint will be /trigger. This is post SFTP method. This integration will be having a request payload and it will respond back. Coming to the request sample data, it will look something like this. The user has to send the SFTP directory detail CSV file name, which has to be read from the SFTP server, and the final Excel file name, which has to be written back to SFTP server. Coming to the response payload format, again this will be of JSON format. Here in the response we will be having a status message and the final Excel file name which OCI function has created and returned to SFTP server. That's it. I'm closing this wizard now. Here in the read file, what this does is it will read the file, that is CSV file, from SFTP server. So operation is read a file in ASCII mode. I have attached the sample CSV format over here, or the file that is for that connection to read the data. So this is the sample CSV file which I have uploaded while configuring this connection. I'm closing this. Let me open the mapper. In the mapper, I'm passing the SFTP directory and the file name which this connection has to read. At the time of testing this integration, I will show you how the CSV file will look like. So once the contents of CSV file are read, next thing is we have to pass this data to our OCI function so that it can generate Excel file for that data. Let me open this wizard. This is nothing but a REST connection which will be used to call OCI function. In the request, I have provided the sample JSON. It will be exactly similar like this, what we had seen in our class 1. And in the response, I have provided the response for OCI function. That's it. I'm closing this wizard. And in the mapper, in the request for this integration, we'll be getting the SFTP directory and the final Excel file name. This we are passing to SFTP details while making a call to OCI function. So this read file response is nothing but the read file response of CSV file. Here we are iterating over to each record. Since CSV file will be considered as a single sheet, I'm hard coding this sheet name to default while creating this Excel file, iterating over to the record and passing the row data to rows. That's it. I'm closing this mapper. So once the OCI function is invoked, it will respond back whether it was a success or failure. Accordingly, we will map the response back to our service consumer for this integration. Now I will close this integration and we'll continue from testing page for this integration. I am here in the testing page for CSV to Excel file convert integration. I have provided the SFTP directory details, CSV file name which it has to read and convert that file to Excel file. The name I have provided over here. Let us go to our SFTP server and verify whether this CSV file is present already or not. Let me refresh this page. Let me edit. Yeah, this is the sample CSV file what we are going to convert to our Excel. Let me close this. Go back to integration. I'm hitting on this test button now. Yeah, integration has completed successfully and we are getting a message that Excel file got generated and this is the file testing.xlsx. Now let's go to SFTP server and verify. Let me hit on refresh button. Yeah, this is the file which it has generated, that is testing.xlsx. This is what we had supplied in the request. Now let me download this file. Let me open the file in Microsoft Excel. Like this, we can convert CSV file to Excel file with the help of OIC integration and OCI function. We hope that this tutorial was helpful to you and you are now comfortable in generating Excel file or writing an Excel file with the help of OIC integration and OCI function. Now the question will arise, what's next? What's next from here? You can try to modify Excel generate file code in OCI function, wherein you can customize cell style. You can style the cell, that is the color, font style, font color, background of the cell. All those things you can try to modify. Also, you can try to format the data in Excel cell, that is you can convert it into a number, you can have a date format, you can have a number format, string format. There are a lot of other formats available, and you can try some other use case as well, adding a image in your Excel file and other formatting stuffs. Also, you can learn other Oracle skills with Binam Learning. We would like to thank you for watching this tutorial. For any issues or queries, you can write to us at binam.apps@gmail.com or binam.apps@outlook.com. Once again, thank you and happy learning.